Please state your name for the record.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonathan Emmaheiser. Can everyone hear me? All right. Sweet. I got a frog in my throat. So I'm a family medicine resident here in Pueblo. I've been here for the last 2 years. Since April of 2023, I've been providing street medicine with a group of volunteers called Project Apollo. Essentially, we perform house calls to the unhoused, and we distribute survival supplies to our unhoused neighbors. I do not support the camping ban, and let me tell you why. In my day job as a doctor, I do my best to help my patients to avoid health problems, both in the present and especially in the future. Unfortunately, many of my patients, but especially the unhoused, suffer from diseases that could have been managed much more effectively if caught early on. Missing the opportunity to give a bit of antibiotic or a blood pressure medication or counseling on quitting smoking can mean the difference between $1,000 a day hospital stays and a healthy life. Something that goes even further than medication is shelter. Doesn't matter what kind of shelter, it just needs to be out of the elements. One of the most basic aspects of human survival is simply being able to get out of the cold, get out of the wet. I think it goes without saying that jeopardizing what little semblance of a home the unhoused have is going to have adverse health effects. Things like frostbite and hypothermia aside, when my patients do not have stable housing, reliable storage for medications, or even a reliable place that I can find them, preventing them from having expensive medical costs, which are then passed on to taxpayers, becomes incredibly difficult. Many studies, which I've provided for you in your emails, have demonstrated that camping bans and homeless sweeps have devastating effects on these people's health and wellness. I would like to point out the fact that someone felt the need to study the effects of somehow making the lives of people that were already incredibly difficult somehow more difficult, to see how that affected their health. It's a blatant abuse of logic and taxpayer money, but some people need more evidence to be convinced. I've been engaged in working with the unhoused in communities all over the country over the last decade or so. I've had to personally deal with the consequences of seeing people lose what little shelter they have. If you don't have time to read the studies, as I have, I would invite you to rely on my experience and expertise. In closing, the camping ban being proposed to the City Council is going to result in harm to members of this community. My job, the job of doctors, is to deal with that harm, and it is hard enough as it is. Please do not make more work for us. If you are interested in making our job easier, Project Apollo would be happy to work together with City Council to provide a reasonable solution to this problem. Thank you very much.